What is up, everybody?
Hey, hey,
How y'all doing?
welcome back to the Preacher's Hour podcast.
Uh,
I am one of your hosts, Brandon Jackson.
I'm your boy Jeffrey Copeland, aka I Lose Stuff.
I
Guys,
lose
I
stuff.
lost the
Oh,
memory card for the video of our last episode with Will. Oh, I'm so
bruh,
sad. It was such a good episode.
it was a
The
fantastic.
podcast side is out, but I couldn't get it on YouTube because I lost the memory card, so I'm not gonna lose the memory card for this one
No,
ever again.
and I'm gonna make sure you don't.
Yeah, it's
I
never gonna
am
happen.
my brother's keeper.
Yeah. So I apologize for that, but we are back with I think a really good topic.
Yeah, this is
Um,
this is a deep one, Jeff. Like, just talking offline about it and just like really being brought to a sense of understanding where it's like, yo, like this is dramatic. This is huge. Like it's not mediocre. This is not mundane. Like this is a serious topic that like the church needs to address. And even like seeing the same topic played out in Jesus' life and how he addressed it, I think it's something that is going to be beneficial and hopefully formative. Formative
okay.
for our audience.
Yeah, so we are going to talk about fame or like being a celebrity, especially what that means being a Christian.
Yeah,
Um, so I'm not even sure where to start because there's like so many
it's
different
a lot, but
places to start. But
it don't even matter, man. Just pick a.
so I'm going to start with our culture because
Okay,
we are in a celebrity culture. We
true.
worship celebrity.
Yes.
My wife and I have been watching every Sunday. There's only one more Sunday left of the Michael Jordan documentary, The Last Dance.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's amazing, by the way. Everybody should watch it. But what I've gotten, the biggest takeaway I've gotten from it is watching Michael Jordan deal with like fame.
Mm.
I mean, there's this really powerful scene where he's on the road, their team's on the road, he's in his hotel room
Uh huh.
with the camera crew, and he's like, man, this is the only place I can get away. Like, this is you got I have all this money and all this stuff, but this is where I have to basically be in this room on lockdown.
Yeah.
I can't even really enjoy my stuff. And he's like, we gotta go. So he starts getting ready, gets his suit on, stuff like that. He walks out the door, gets in the elevator, and like the elevator's going down, and you can just like see him like just getting ready.
Yeah.
That
Like
elevator door
mentally.
opens. He like they walk out, and then he's just mobbed. I mean, like people are like
That's ridiculous.
that's probably what happened to Jesus when he's walking through that crowd and the lady touches the hem of his
Oh
garment.
yeah.
Like, I mean, he's just people are just trying to grab and claw at him, and they're crazy. I'm like,
For
he's
what?
just a dude who plays basketball really well.
But he has $1 million, so I guess he has the.
Oh,
Oh my God. I don't even. Okay, I don't know if it's from God or if it's in my head, but uh, Michael Jordan, like, or the people were like flocking to him because this is a man who has the means to change your life if
wow,
he wanted to.
that's
Like if he
power.
wanted to, like he has enough money to say, you
Mm-hmm.
know what, here's $1 million, go
You
live,
take care of you.
take care of your family. Like he get, so like you flock to that, and then like you get to a person who's definitely not gonna do that for you, who's not willing to give you a whole new life,
Mm-hmm.
and and like you kind of become upset, or you become like a crazy fan. Like you continue to do it because you're hoping to get something out of him.
Mm.
Because I don't think any of those reporters were there for Michael Jackson. I don't think any of those cameras were there for. I mean, Michael Jordan. I
Mm-hmm.
don't think anyone was there for him. They were there to get something from
From
him.
him. That's
Um,
so. And like the crazy thing is like this was in like the '90s where social
yeah,
media wasn't a thing.
not even a thing.
Now, what's crazy about our culture today is that I can get something from you without you giving me anything. Because
Mm,
you're famous, if I can just get some type of attachment
to
to your
you.
fame, I
Mm-hmm.
can get my followers up.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't even really need you. I
I can
just
just get a
need your fame. I can just get close enough. Maybe I can get you to take a picture with
picture
me
with
so I
me.
can post it or
Yeah.
get a shout out or whatever I can get. You don't even have to give me money anymore.
And now you can pay for Cameo.
Yeah.
Literally, someone to
Yeah.
say happy birthday to you. It's like here's $300. Say like what? It's wild.
Wild.
Absolutely wild.
So because we live in this celebrity obsessed culture, um, it's become it's gotta be difficult to you combine that with trying to be a Christian.
Oh, no doubt.
Like I just imagine that being because we did an episode on humility,
Mm-hmm.
in season one, and
It's a great episode, by the
great
way.
episode, by the way. Plug. And trying to combine fame and humility, I just feel like they are polar opposites.
I don't think it's
Like they
possible.
can't coexist. So I like trying to watch people navigate being famous. It's two different things too, because it's like you have like I think of a celebrity like Chris Pratt, the actor from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So he's a Christian.
I
He's
had
like
no
a
idea.
right. He's like a very like I hate when I say stuff like that. Like he's a really strong Christian or a super Christian or
Yeah.
he's very Christian. I don't know how you be very Christian, but he is a I guess I'll say serious Christian,
Mm-hmm.
and that he doesn't do certain scenes and there's certain things that he's
Oh
very
wow.
serious about that.
It was like really following
Yeah,
Jesus.
but like he's a celebrity who happens to be a Christian. Like
Mm.
you didn't even know,
Yeah, no clue.
right? Versus somebody who's actually famous because of
Their
their faith.
Christianity.
Like they're
Oh.
famous to Christians. I think of like Lecrae or Andy Mineo.
Yeah.
Just there's certain pastors who are
Mm-hmm.
famous for being
Mm-hmm.
a pastor. You're a famous pastor.
Which is really crazy. I mean, it's like you said, it's hard to do, and I think it's not even it's impossible to do in the minds of others. So like,
Mm,
I don't think that people can see your battle with humility and
it's true.
fame, um, but like it's difficult in the mind. Like it's possible to be famous and to be and to be humble, uh, but like it's a battle. So when I think about it, I think about like Francis Chan.
Right.
Like Francis Chan almost tried not to be famous.
Yeah.
Like he was like, I
He
don't
went
even want
out
to.
of his way to try to get rid of fame.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but yet he's still famous.
Yeah.
Still like 1.2 million followers on YouTube. Doesn't even have an Instagram anymore. So this is like he's done everything. He's really using YouTube just to spread the gospel. Like every single video he posts is never about. Even now, it's not even about like
Mhm.
selling stuff. Cause I remember when he did his book, he does all this stuff and he would do promo videos and all that kind of stuff. But now it's like I'm just like every video I see, he's holding the same
Yes, he's
Bible,
literally holding his Bible. Now listen, I was reading
and
this.
he's breathing on Harden.
Yeah. I love him, dude. That's my
But
guy.
when I see Francis, man, I'm like, yo, that's radical,
Yeah.
absolutely radical for him to like denounce fame and to like follow God, and for people still to be looking for him, which goes back to like me seeing Jesus. Like
Mm.
Jesus was radical, and
Yeah.
he did everything he could to like avoid fame.
Yeah, we'll come back to that.
No
I
doubt,
think, man,
crazy.
so I every time I watch a video of Francis Chan, I just say, God, I hope this is real. Like, I really hope he's actually like this.
Yeah.
From all indications that I can see from the outside looking in, it seems like he's genuine, like he's
Mm-hmm.
genuinely humble, he's genuinely like cares about God. Seems like he has a serious relationship with God.
For sure.
But it could all just be for show.
It
And
could.
like that's a fear I have in the back of my mind. And that's one thing I would say
Should be great production though. You know,
he be producing. I don't know who his
my
agent
dude
is.
out here moving to Hong Kong.
Man. And I feel like he moved there partly like let me just get away.
Yeah.
They don't know who I am in Hong Kong. So it's
Mm-mm.
like but like I would imagine it's the difficulty of it is this. If I'm famous because of my faith, let's say I'm a pastor, let's say I'm Michael Todd or Stephen Furtick or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
the danger comes I can't fail.
Right.
If you fail,
Dude, if I sin,
that's what I'm saying. The scary part about it is, and so many ways we go with this, but like those people who come to his church, I would probably guess, this is just sanctified guess, 80% of them are there for him, not
I,
for God,
oh my
not
gosh.
for Jesus.
I think it was even Patient who said like, not Patient, but it was a famous pastor or but pastor of a huge church in Korea or something like that.
Oh yeah.
And Paul Yungishu, and he said like 2% of his church are actually followers of Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
The rest are all members. And I noticed this even in my own church, my local church,
Mm-hmm.
like before, even now. If my pastor or my pastors aren't preaching, folks is not coming to
Yeah.
church. Like if they know they're not preaching, it's like, oh,
Bro,
I'm gonna
that's
go to church
how,
for it.
bro, at family, the pastor would be, he takes the whole month of July off.
mm, numbers just.
Attendance is, or if you know he's not, it's the worst, and I'm guilty of this. You get to church and it's like, oh, he's not preaching? Who preaching today? Like,
That's Brother Earl.
and
Brother
it's
Earl.
so funny. Oh man, there's some guys. So what happens is the way church would start, the choir singing the first song, and the ministers are not out yet.
Right.
They're in the back.
Mm-hmm.
And then they open the door and you're just like waiting. Like,
To see who sits in the seat.
sits in that seat, bro. And he would always come out last. So you're
Oh.
just like, okay, okay. Okay, he's not. Okay, good. He's not. Okay, he's not. What? Oh, man.
It's like
Reverend so and so?
it's like a draft, the preaching draft.
Seriously. How did you not take him? What a waste of a pick. But
Oh, that's hilarious.
so I feel like our churches are even victim of this like
No doubt.
celebrity worship, or at least at the very least a celebrity in that body.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
To where like we are here for this person.
Right.
Because human beings want to follow a person. It's in our nature.
Mm-hmm.
You go back to Samuel when the people are like, hey, we want a king.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, you have one. His name is
God.
God.
Yeah.
No. All other people have kings. We want like an actual physical person we can
Let's
see
see.
to follow. For whatever
Yeah.
reason, that's how humans are. So when in our churches we have this a guy who's up in front of us every day, we can physically see him.
Mm-hmm.
I want to follow that guy.
Yeah.
Instead of him trying to get us to follow
Jesus.
Jesus.
Oh, and that's so difficult, man, because at the end of the day, the person is going to let you down. And we see that all through the Old Testament.
Mm-hmm.
Person after person coming to lead Israel, and every single one of them just worse than the one before. I think it was like 42 kings, and only 8 of them were good.
Mm-hmm.
Ridiculous amount of number. Like, it's crazy. And you
We
just think
miss
about we're missing a lot when we follow after a person.
Yeah.
And I think this is why celebrity status as a Christian is so difficult, because people are following you.
Yeah.
They're never really coming to Jesus.
And it's not fair to you. It's not fair to the pastor. It's
Yeah.
not fair to the
It's
celebrity.
not their mantle.
Like that. I think God knows. Like you cannot handle this.
Yeah.
Like you can't handle this pressure to be perfect because
Mhm.
you can't be perfect. Only I can.
Yeah.
So like the moment that people are here for you and they're here worshiping you, basically, like at some point you're gonna let them down. It's just
Yeah.
impossible. You're gonna make a mistake. You can't hide everything. And then the fact you have to hide stuff.
Yeah. It
Now
makes
you're
it
being
makes
fake.
it makes it super hard. Because I'm gonna be 1,000% honest. I don't ever really want to be a pastor. I don't even like being a preacher,
Right.
being a youth pastor or whatever. I don't really like doing it, because it's like my life's under a microscope,
Mm-hmm.
and there's things that I can't like just come out with. Like you have like kids or teenagers or even like lay members of the church who would just be like, yeah, I relapsed on cocaine last night, and then church comes around, prays for
Oh
them,
man.
loves on them. It's like, man, you know what? We got you. Next time, like, call me.
Mm-hmm.
Let your pastor tell you that he
Mm-hmm.
relapsed on cocaine. You gonna be like, oh, I can't be a part of this church. I gotta go. And you're just like, yo, like, why is there not enough grace for everyone?
Mm-hmm.
Like, why does a? I'm not saying that pastors like maybe out there wilding out, but like the truth is, pastors and preachers and prophets and all that, like, they are humans too.
Yeah.
And for you to put them on a pedestal to where they, on a pedestal that is unachievable for them to like
Yeah.
maintain, they can do it for like a day, maybe a year, maybe even 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually, you don't get that one person who's just be like nagging, and you're just gonna go off one day and just be like, stop thinking that I'm God. I'm not God. And I think this is something that Jesus did well as he continued in his ministry to never like claim equality with God.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah.
He was like, no, I'm not God. Like, I'm the way to God.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not, like, he just like suppressed his deity to show you like his humanity, and like to model for us how we
Yes.
are supposed to suppress that as well.
Yeah.
So we can't try to do it all on our own. We can't try to pretend like it's all us, because the truth of the matter is we are going to fail, like
Yeah.
you said. And when we do that, many people will fall because of our failure.
Yeah. And just to be clear, Brandon's not saying Jesus wasn't God.
Oh, no, it's not what I'm
Like
saying.
Jesus was God,
Yeah.
but the fact that he was so humble, he took off his equality with God. He would
Mhm.
try to downplay his equality with God. Not that he wasn't equal to
Yeah.
God, but he tried to make sure people saw his humility as a example, like you said, for us to follow.
Follow.
Like when he, like you said offline, he would do a miracle and he'd say, "Tell no
No
one."
one. Mm-hmm.
Like, and
Which is different from God, because God would do a miracle and be like, tell everyone.
mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I am God.
Yes.
I am the one who restores. I am the
Yes.
one who. And Jesus' approach was just different. So, like,
Yes.
he is God. His approach to his deity was different. So even
Yeah.
for us, like, our approach is, if we want to be great, even Jesus said the same words. If we want to be great in the kingdom, serve.
Yes. Be last.
Be last.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to be first, be last. Serve everyone, and when you get to the kingdom,
Yeah.
you will be on top. And I think we kind of like just completely forget about that sometimes.
Oh, we can get to why, but this literally just hit me now because I would think a question from a listener in that moment would be, okay, why is it okay for God to do it and then Jesus would be different?
Mm,
I would think because Jesus was a physical person, and like I said earlier, like people, we have a problem when it comes to like wanting to worship a physical person
yeah.
versus God, who is spiritual. He's huge, he's massive, he's everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
He speaks with this booming voice
Yeah.
that people are naturally afraid of. And they should be afraid of.
Mm,
I feel like Jesus was like, I have to be different because I'm physically here
yeah.
as a person.
I
So I
can't be
have
the
to
same.
point you to him
Mm-hmm.
because if I don't, you're like we saw. People wanted to just make him king. They wanted to just
Yeah.
take him everywhere, and you're gonna give us him. You're gonna give us food and fish. Like Uncle
Yeah.
Rod calls it fish sandwiches. I love that.
The
Just make us fish sandwiches
sandwiches.
all day, like,
Man.
and it's like no. Like because you can physically see me, like I can't express my full deity
Right.
because that's gonna distract you.
Mm-hmm.
So like that's just Jesus.
And even nothing distracts you, it might just like knock you off course because
Hmm.
your desire will be for what I have
Yes, it'll be
and then not
worldly
for
things.
me.
Hmm.
So, which is the same thing that all our celebrity preachers, they're in this realm of like fighting against that.
Yeah,
Like, do you want Jesus, or are you trying to get close to me for your own personal gain?
yeah,
Which is super scary because then, oh man, we should really pray for celebrity preachers
yeah.
because like, do you have real friends?
Man, I
Like,
imagine that your only friends can be other celebrity preachers.
who are
Like
going through
they're
the
all
same
in their
thing?
own little like
Yeah,
clique, their own little world.
because they could be
Um,
honest and real. Like, because honestly, I don't know what Michael Todd does with. Like, I don't even know his schedule. Like, what his schedule. Like, for me, it's like I wake up in the morning, I got 2 Zoom calls. I got to do like, I got to create a video and then get ready for a live stream, and like that's pretty much all I'm doing in my day. But then you see someone like Michael Todd, and it's like, fam, do you ever have like
can you ever
your
be off?
can you be off? Can you be just like you? Like, do you just get time to just be like chilling in your drawers like
Can you go to the grocery store?
that
Can you just go to Best Buy?
and get yourself a TV without someone being like, you could have gave that money to the poor?
Ugh. Dang.
I'm just saying, like being a celebrity and being a Christian. Um, I mean, obviously it's kind of one sided because neither Jeff or
Right,
I are celebrities,
right.
which would be really cool. One day to have a celebrity preacher on here,
Hmm.
but it was saying like from our perspective, it just seems really tough and really lonely.
Man,
Nothing to really aspire towards,
which
which
is
is
like
sad because a lot of
exactly
people,
what the devil would want. I feel like
come on,
to isolate you, and
come
like
on,
you almost have to create this other person
mm-hmm,
that you show to people.
yeah,
And then you're like your identity is no longer in Christ
mm-mm.
at that point.
At least one of them not.
Yeah, I mean, and you don't even know who the real you is anymore. And like,
Sheesh,
oh
that's
man,
not
that
something.
sounds exhausting.
That's not something I'm like I'm aspiring to be,
Yeah.
which is sad because there's many preachers even now who are, which is one of our points, and I know it's kind of toward the end, but if
Oh,
we can
this is
talk
all
about
out
it,
of order. Doesn't
okay.
matter. Doesn't
But
matter.
like building your brand versus
Hmm.
building your ministry,
Yep.
like when you think about like, okay, I need to do X, Y, and Z in order to get my followers up, or I need to
Hmm.
do A, B, and C in order to get my interactions up, and you're doing it to gain something that's not really, number one, it's not tangible.
Hmm.
Like followers aren't
You're
like,
looking at your analytics.
yeah, it's not really tangible,
Yeah.
and it's not gonna matter at the end. Like God's not gonna be like, man, great work on
Man,
getting to him.
you had heck of followers.
Like, way to go.
Man.
Well done, like good and faithful subscriber. Like that's not what's gonna happen. And I get discouraged sometimes when I see like the numbers of celebrity preachers and pastors, and I know like a lot of them have like a whole team behind them that like helps
Hmm.
them get to where they need to get to or where they're trying to get to. But I feel like a lot of it gets lost. And I'm, guys, hear me. I'm not talking about like the Stephen Furticks or Michael Todd's. Like I think that their ministries are growing and God is blessing them. My fear is that like their celebrity status is not, it may not always harm them, but it could be harming us.
Hmm.
Their celebrity status could be like be a detriment to our
Yep.
our
Our
our,
view of
our view,
God,
yeah,
even.
and like
Yeah.
what we aspire to be. Like
Mm-hmm.
I would rather be on my neighborhood and everybody knows my name and knows that if they need help they can come to me, rather than having the whole world know my name and no one in my neighborhood knows who I am. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm.
it's just different. Like I want to be a physical, tangible help to those around me, and I could. Okay, don't get me wrong, but I could care less about what the rest of the world is doing because like I can't help the whole world.
Mm-hmm.
Like God placed me right here at 45, 60 East Shields,
Mm-hmm.
and like this is where I'm serving. This is where I have to serve because this is where I am physically.
Amen.
So if I'm not serving in this area, and like if my whole neighborhood thinks I'm famous or thinks that I'm great, like okay, I can like manage that. But if I had like 1 million followers, or I had even if I had like 3,000 followers, I would feel some type of way, and I would have to start battling with humility and fame. But if my whole neighborhood knows me, then I'm more just dealing with like accountability. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Like it's just
Mm-hmm.
people are not looking to me to be a certain way because I'm just be honest and be me
Yeah.
to everyone on my block. But I can't do that to everyone on my social media or like anyone in the world. So I think we have to limit the amount of exposure, which I think is back to Jesus. Man, I think this is why Jesus was trying to tell people don't tell anyone else. He's trying to
Yeah.
limit his exposure because this is he had number one he had a mission, and he couldn't
Mm-hmm.
have because he struggled with the same things we struggle with. So like I'm sure like he had to keep his pride in check. He had to keep his fame in check. He had to keep
Yep.
all that in check because he understood the realness of sin. If I give into this once, then I'll probably give into it again. Like if I give
Yep.
into the and it's so he's understanding, okay, I need to always be about whatever my father wants. And then if people want me to do what my father wants me to do, but I am taking the glory for it, then I'm still in the wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where I feel like the majority of our churches and our pastors have to get to say that I'm not the celebrity, God is. And
Yes.
even if I die today, the ministry continues. But
Yes.
if Stephen Furtick dies today, the
It's
brand
over.
dies.
Yes. Exactly. And that's the danger. And again, I'm not even blaming them. I'm not blaming Stephen
Mm-mm.
Furtick. I'm blaming our society. I'm blaming
Yeah.
us because we've turned them into that. I saw this this podcast, which is a funny illustration of this. Kristen Gray, the rapper,
Oh
who's
yeah, yeah.
also a pastor,
Mm-hmm.
he started a podcast with some of his friends, and they did this episode on like how much drip should a pastor have? Like, what's the appropriate level of drip?
Drip.
And I'm like, yo, and they're all like,
Featured in
just
sneaks.
fitted, yeah, man. And I'm just like, is God really? Is this really glorifying Him? Is this really making Him famous? How much drip you got? Like, if you got the right Jordans on, if your jeans is ripped properly, like, like the way a
Oh.
pastor dresses and the photos they post on certain things,
Mm-hmm.
and like creating their brand versus building like God's brand.
No, no doubt,
You know
no
what I'm
doubt.
saying?
Because even when you, and I don't know how much like denouncing you would do as a preacher, but if someone started to like, glorify like the way that I dressed, I feel like that's an issue that I have to now address
Mm,
and tell people, look, okay, I don't want you to see me.
yes.
I don't want you to see the fancy things that I have. I want you to see Jesus. And like you said, it's the culture's fault. It's our fault for making this because I shouldn't feel a certain type of way if Michael Todd wants to buy a Tesla. Like I shouldn't feel like, oh, okay, man, my dude got a Tesla, so like, why would you buy a Tesla? Well, because he got the money to buy a Tesla. Like I'm,
You're the reason he has the money.
so like, give me your Tesla because I paid for it. But I think about like when we put these stipulations on other preachers, we start to look at their drip as if it's some type of accomplishment when
Mm-hmm.
it's
Exactly.
just not. It's just
Nope.
clothes. Like if you want to spend $400 on a pair of shoes, like that's yours. You just got to deal with your own consequences.
Mm-hmm.
But like glorifying it and turning it into something, like even the fact that became a conversation, it's weird because it doesn't matter.
Not at all.
It doesn't really matter. I'm not like no knock to
Right.
Christian and all them doing their
Exactly.
podcast, but I'm pretty sure like the point was,
Yeah.
what does this matter when it comes to the gospel?
Exactly.
Like if someone is talking about me, and to be honest, let's just be real with this situation. Like Ravi Zacharias is about to pass away.
Amen.
He's about to,
Unless God does a miracle.
yeah. Which I don't even know if it'd be a miracle on whose behalf.
Mm-hmm.
Like if he stays here, like Paul said, like to die is gain, to
Absolutely.
live is Christ. So like he would continue to like live in the suffering world,
Mm-hmm.
or go with God. I mean, if I'm that age and I've done this much, take me home. Like, well, hey, I'll see y'all when y'all get here. But I think about the legacy and what he's leaving behind no one is going to talk about what Ravi wore. You know what I'm saying? No one's going to talk about, or many people won't talk about like how big his following was even.
Mm.
People were gonna when they talk about Ravi Zacharias after he passes, it's gonna be about the impact that he made on their lives. They're gonna talk about, man,
Yep.
I remember when I went to the Passion Conference and he was speaking, or I remember when I went to this college and he came into
Mm-hmm.
the Q&A. I remember when, like, that's what I want to be known for. Like, I don't want to
Yes.
be known for my status. That's super fleeting.
Yep.
I want to be known for what God did through me and the amount of people that were impacted by my obedience. Because at the end of the day, it's not me. It's not.
Man.
It's not what I'm doing. It's not what I came up with. It's literally all God, and like He just used me, and I was just crazy enough to say yes. That's really all.
Yeah. It's the only thing I should get credit for.
Just for saying
Just saying
yes.
yes.
But other
Mm-hmm.
than that, like everything else is God. Everything about this podcast and the things that people have said about what we do on this podcast, and I'm thinking, if we're honest, me and Jeff just talk.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Nothing special.
nothing
Anybody could do
special.
this.
We just talk, and like as we speak, the Holy Spirit gives us utterance, and we just regurgitate whatever He put in our spirit.
Mm-hmm.
And as that happens, listeners are affected and impacted. And I hope by the time people like hear our podcast, or if we're like old or the podcast ends for whatever reason, I hope that the remembrance would not be, yo, Jeff and Brandon had dope equipment. Jeff and Brandon were on YouTube. Jeff and
Mm.
Brandon bought this and no, like that would be a shame for us.
Yeah.
That would be a complete waste of our
Absolutely.
time. But if people came back and said, "Yo, I can't believe that this is what's happening and this is what's going on and this is how the podcast works," if that was to happen, then people hearing the gospel through what we do, man, I would even if one person was like, "Yo, this podcast made me a Christian," fam, I'm jogging up to heaven like moving on up.
Don't jog too much and I get shot. Um,
So
yes. So I want to read a
yeah,
post that Ravi posted the other day. And guys, I was really sad when I
mm,
got the news because Ravi, I was talking about him on this podcast before, but like means a lot to me. Um, I mean, my early 20s and just all of my 20s, honestly, he was a big
yeah,
influence on me and what I believe and things like that. Like, I just thank God for his obedience.
yeah.
I actually tweeted him because like the RZM team was like, hey, tweet Ravi stuff that just say thank you, whatever
Oh
he's
yeah,
done
yeah,
for
yeah.
me. So there's heck of people tweeting him and stuff. But he posted this post the other day and made me feel a lot better. It's a poem that he memorized. This guy could
Yeah.
when he would say stuff on top of his head, I'm like, how do you
How do you remember
you're
stuff like?
70 something.
Oh, he got it
Anyway,
all.
so he says, Lord, it belongs not to my care, whether I die or live. To love and serve thee is my share, and this thy grace must give. If life be long, I will be glad, that I may long obey. If short, yet why should I be sad to welcome endless day? I love that part. What a way to look at life.
Oh, dang.
Christ leads me through no darker rooms than he went through before. He that unto God's kingdom comes must enter by this door.
Mm,
Come, Lord, when grace hath made me meet thy blessed face to see. For if thy work on earth be sweet, what will thy glory be?
good night.
Sheesh. Then I shall end my sad complaints and weary sinful days, and join with the triumphant saints to sing my Saviour's praise. My knowledge of that life is small, the eye of faith is dim, but 'tis enough that Christ knows all, and I shall be with him.
Dude, first off, the idea of like how to view death,
Right,
like how to view transition, how to like viewing that type of thing the right way. Death is never scary.
right,
Like it's not supposed to be. It's not supposed to be like, oh man, like this is gonna be like traumatic. But it's supposed to be like a glorious time when you're like, I finally get to meet the one who made me.
yeah,
So I just think about like Ravi's life and like, in that poem. I need you to send me that.
yeah,
Um, I want people to get the right perspective. Like no matter who's living, who's dying. Like if we have the right perspective on life, really nothing is an issue. Like I don't know how to say this the right way, but there's really nothing in life that goes wrong.
hmm,
Like when you're in Christ and everything is happening, the Bible literally says in Romans 8:28 that all things work together for the good of those who love God and are called to His purpose.